We are live.
There you go.
GameDay Huddle, episode 26, guys?
Yeah, that's insane.
Holy.
It's 26 weeks flies by.
Only when you're having fun.
That's half a year, guys. We've been on for already half a year.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is kind of surprising. It
is.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
No, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, this is crazy to think that we have gone this far, and Jimmy hasn't said something offensive yet. So
I haven't been blackballed for like a week or anything.
we haven't had to send him to sign out.
Suspended for a week. Sorry, Jimmy's in the cooler. It's gonna happen eventually, but hopefully not anytime soon.
Maybe if you throw stuff at us, we can suspend you.
Well, yeah, we can get to that in a minute.
Well, we had a crazy sports weekend. I mean, there's a ton of stuff for us to talk about. The first thing was this.
He's been looking to land body shots, sneaky punches all the contest, but look at him here. Dillian White, the referee's asking him to walk forward. He's not happy with the way he is, his body language. He falls into him. He had no alternative there. I'm telling you what, Richie.
All right, so he was punch drunk.
No,
he was definitely punch drunk. He was done.
When is it going to go down that Tyson Fury is probably the best heavyweight ever?
I mean, there's these discussions now that you're having that people are saying this. So he hinted at retirement, said he would be okay with being retired and fight exhibitions. And Ngannou's on his list. And Ngannou actually came out and said, we've been trying to work on this for close to 2 years now. Let's make it happen. So I think that would be a fun big boy fight to see. Ngannou, and they're talking about they would fight boxing, but they would use the UFC gloves. So I think that would be interesting.
And Ngannou's done on his contract with the UFC, so a lot of people don't realize that like his contract ended on his last fight. He did not renew his contract yet. He still is the champion, the heavyweight champion for the UFC. So only time will tell if they actually get to fight.
And I'm sure Dana will be involved if that happens or whatever. But, I mean, it was an impressive display by Tyson Fury. It was in the middle of the day. This is the craziest thing. And there were 94,000 people at Wembley for the fight.
That's awesome.
I mean, where else are you seeing athletes draw 94,000 people for an event?
That's great.
Big time football, your favorite, right?
Yeah.
Your favorite sport. But,
Football.
It's happening there, but it's not happening in this. I don't
Correct.
know. Did you watch the fight? Did you?
I tuned in for a little bit on Saturday. I did not watch the whole thing.
You didn't watch the whole fight.
Mm-mm.
So see, maybe that's when he'll be the greatest, is when people actually like watch the full.
Well, I wasn't like I tuned into all the Anthony Joshua fights. I tuned into all those, but this guy, we knew he had no chance.
Because it was a nobody. That's
Yeah.
why. Okay.
There's no. Why waste my time? I know he's gonna get knocked out, and he did. He got dealt.
Time is money.
No, I mean he was incredible. Well, a fight that
What just popped up? Something popped up and
video
cut.
got blocked.
Uh-oh. Well, we're still live on Facebook.
Oh, I know what it was. Yeah, I know what it was. Okay. Well, we'll keep it rolling. I know what happened.
We'll do it.
I left
do
the
it live.
audio. I left the audio in the fight clip. I shouldn't have.
Let's do it live.
Learn it anyways. All right. Talk about fights. We've seen fights. Walks it off.
Beautiful. Get the-
Look at the celebration. Everybody's excited. Comes out to second base. And then there goes everybody from second base. Because Yankees fans, the way they celebrate a walk-off is by
Go crazy.
going nuts and trying to throw stuff, including full beers, at players on the other team. Apparently one of the Indians said someone threw a beer at him. So my favorite thing here is you can actually see Aaron Judge, and he's so much bigger than everyone else there, right? And you see him out there with his hands up and he stops. That guy runs from the
Well, of course. And yes, you shouldn't ever throw anything onto the field. But all that led into was a little bit before that on the double that LeMahieu hit. Was it LeMahieu hit the double? Somebody hit a double, and Quan goes to try to catch it in left field, runs into the wall, gets hurt, and as he's hurt, the Yankee fans over in the bleachers, that's the guys that can't afford the good seats, they start talking a lot of trash, and we're making fun of him for being hurt and saying like basically clapping. You should never do that.
Yeah.
Never be happy that an athlete gets hurt, because obviously it's their livelihood, and especially Quan. Quan's making like $50 to
Yeah,
play
yeah,
the game.
He is,
Trying to
he
make
is
a name for
100%
himself.
on the league minimum, and I'm pretty sure that he's saving his meal money because he needs to.
Well, that just reminds me of like Philadelphia Eagles fans when years ago when Irvin went down and he was like literally laying lifeless and no one knew what was going on and they were cheering. So I mean,
Yeah, it's just scum. Yeah, those guys are scum. They're trash. It shouldn't be allowed. But the Indians fan or the Indians player that climbed the fence and tried to go in there, like
he tried to run or test it.
Yeah, he tried to climb the fence and he was like wanting to talk to somebody.
He got up in some dude's face and was getting, and that didn't help.
Does not help the situation. So that happened first. So that fires everybody else up in the whole stadium because they're watching this go on. Nobody can understand what they said, but they see an Indians player climb the fence and start yelling at one of their fans.
Right. I mean, in all fairness, their name is the Guardians. So
oh shoot, I forgot. Yeah,
is that not what they're supposed to do? Is protect?
They are guardian.
Is that not what a guardian does?
I mean, that's way to hit it on the head.
Perfect.
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to say, like, if your name's a guardian, what is your job?
Us and all of Major League Baseball was missing that. Thank you. That was.
Yes, he pulled that one hook, line, and sinker.
Well, another guy that gets fired up. Well, here, check this out.
Schwarber misses away. Here it comes. Called strike 3, and Schwarber is thrown out of the game, and he had zero issue with getting
was that
thrown
Bader
out.
or Hader?
Making it very
His face
clear.
says it all.
You've missed an inside,
He knew it was a
outside,
ball
up
and
and
he
down. Kyle Schwarber thrown out.
I love the animation of him at the end. Of his get out of here is he's already taken 8 steps before he tells him to get out of here. You guys talked about it, Angel Hernandez.
Oh my God!
I mean, you pulled up a pretty interesting stat right before the show started that they have on record 2,600 balls and strikes that were recorded wrong, basically.
In the last 7 years.
Yeah.
We're not even talking his career because the guy's been a major league umpire for like almost 40 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're talking in the last 7 years, he's missed 2,600 balls and strike calls. How do you keep your job if that's what you are doing?
Even if there is a union there and he's keeping his job, why is he continuously being put behind the plate? Like, I know he makes mistakes in the field as well, but wouldn't that cut down some of the mistakes?
100%.
Well, the comment that's made on this clip, because this clip is longer, right?
Yeah.
On this clip, at the end of the clip,
Yeah.
it's actually being commented on the fact that he's not even the
Crew chief.
The crew chief.
Yeah.
He's a senior umpire in that crew, but he's not even the crew chief.
Yeah, he's
as
not
a
the
senior
crew
umpire.
chief.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, tells you that they know. We've seen him not be able to be on playoff games. We've seen these things happen. It seems like every season we're pointing out one major Angel Hernandez
blunder.
debacle.
But
Yeah.
they're just like okay with it.
And
like, MLB's okay with it.
Yeah, and the thing was, it wasn't just the fact that it was this particular pitch. This was happening all game. Mm-hmm. They were furious. Schwarber was on fire. Schwarber came out after and basically said, "Look, I said you're blowing it for us. You're blowing it for them. You're blowing it for everybody.
You're
at
just
least
terrible.
At least the playing field's even there, I guess, right? If you're
Yeah,
gonna
he's
be bad,
actually
be
sticking
bad
up for both
ways,
teams.
right?
Yeah, he's sticking up for both teams, not just his own. Like, it's not like a personal thing.
And you coach, so
Yeah.
you deal with this on a daily basis out there. With
I just dealt with it in Arizona yesterday.
Yeah, so you deal with this with umpires, and we witnessed it firsthand when you guys were at the college or at the World Series over the
World
summer.
Series, yeah.
When you guys got hosed for every call in the world that wasn't even close, and we're all watching this on national TV, saying how is it possible? Yes, it is a little league game.
Yes,
and so we can give them a little bit of, but that's the highest level of little league. And they're still blowing it.
Yeah.
Like, I've refereed, I've umpired, I've done it since I was 18 years old. I'm now 40 years old. So I've been doing it more for 22 years. I've umpired, I've refereed, and I've blown calls.
Yeah.
And I've made mistakes. But for the most part, the good guys get it right.
Yeah.
And they get it very close to right.
And they're the ones you want doing it from there on. Like, that's just the case. But it's like, You're giving this guy the reins, and I feel like every time he blows a call, it's just kind of overlooked. Like, it's just like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? We just move on to the next day.
And in baseball, the biggest thing is that when you have issues like that, you create a bad habit, and it only takes 1 or 2 bad habit swings to derail you for 2 weeks. Right? So that's where this comes from, is that guys like Schwarber's not going to swing at that. He's an absolute professional. He's not going to swing at that pitch because he knows that is a ball 99.9% of the time. This was that 0.01%.
And the thing is, like, Little League, high school, these umpires, they don't get paid.
Right.
They get paid very little money. Most of the time they're losing money because they're traveling, they're doing this. I know, I've done it. I've traveled all over the country, and when I sit down and I look at what I made for that event, I'm like, I lost about $800 to go work and referee these matches.
When
and
all is said and done,
Yes, they end up losing money because these guys are getting paid big money.
Absolutely.
They're not getting paid little dollars. They're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars.
If he wasn't getting paid, he wouldn't be an umpire for 40 years.
That's true.
You don't do that for 40 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as the Little League World Series goes, those guys are all volunteer, and the allurement of it is they get to be on TV.
Yeah.
Right.
This guy got to be on TV, for sure, in the Missouri game. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life.
And that's the thing is that
He's
you
probably
have
from
those
Missouri.
situations.
You check into that?
I did not.
I'll tell you what, a guy that didn't miss, hasn't missed a lot, was this guy. Miguel Cabrera went out, got his 3,000th hit this weekend. That was after the Yankees did that famous intentional walk, which, I'll be honest with you, was the right call. It was.
It's the right call 100%
It's the
of the
right
time.
call. It's the best bat at the time in their lineup. You set yourself up for it. It's the right call. It's just unfortunate it happened there, but it did give a nice thing, which was it took the backdrop of Yankee Stadium away and put it in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, put it back home.
Yeah. So here's Miguel's 3,000th hit.
Here comes Cabrera. Right side, there it is! His 3,000th, the third Tiger to ever do it!
Classic Cabrera thing. Off to right foot. It's like the guy can hit it anywhere. It's great.
My favorite was this. Iglesias comes over playing shortstop for the Rockies and gives him a hug. Now they played together quite a
long
few
time,
years
yeah.
in Detroit. So it's great to see that the hug fest started there and that he ran from his position to come tell his friend, hey, good job. Just kind of shows that baseball does have that camaraderie thing that kind of runs
Yeah, it does.
down.
It does.
3,000 hits, 500 home runs, obvious Hall of Famer. I'm guessing first ballot.
100%.
Although from what we've seen in the past, we know he's not getting 100% of the vote.
If Derek Jeter doesn't get 100% of the vote, Cabrera can't get 100%. But
a heck of a career start with the Marlins. You forget about that because
he won a World Series
won
with
a
the
World
Marlins.
Series with the Marlins.
And how skinny he was. He looks like a completely different person.
No.
He's literally the same guy at all.
But dude can hit. He's a hitting machine. He's continued to be a hitting machine, and he's turned that team around. No matter how much the Tigers have never really been really, really good. I mean, they've had their times, but they seem to compete, and it seems to turn out players that do really, really well. And I think JD Martinez is a perfect example. He's a guy that, worked with Cabrera for 5 straight years and turned that into a huge contract and become so. More power to him. Congratulations, Miguel Cabrera.
I don't think anybody could say a bad thing about Miguel Cabrera.
It's hard.
He's one of those guys that
hard.
I think if you go to any locker room, if you talk to any player, any coach, any person that is involved, they're all going to say the same thing. He's just a stand-up dude. He comes to work every single week. The question is now, is it ever going to happen again? 3,000 hits.
3,000 and 500, I don't know. 3,000 hits, maybe only because guys are getting more plate appearances now than they were in the past. I think it's gone up like 60 or 80 plate appearances a year on average.
Yeah, I can see 3,000 hits happening again for sure.
You can?
It could. When you look at it right now, who does it come from? We thought it would be Trout or Harper, maybe, but their strikeout ratios are a little high. So
it just seems with the whole launch angle thing and all this stuff that these guys are now trying to do, and you need to play at least 15 years to get there. You have to be in the league a long time.
It might be a guy like a Wander Franco or something like that comes along and becomes the next guy, and we're just getting to the beginning of his career. So
what helped was also making the DH in the National League too, so that kind of prolongs career sometimes.
That will get a lot more at bats for people
and that's what I'm saying. Like if you play in the National League your entire career, now you have a chance
and that's
to move over to DH.
16 more DH spots.
Correct.
So
there's still a chance. The door's not shut on that.
Okay.
For sure.
Not at Major League batting average. Let's talk about that for a minute. We talked about power rankings last week. This week, talk a little bit about the stats and kind of where we're at. Andrew Benintendi is hitting .388 right now for the Royals.
Came out of nowhere.
And then, well, I don't know. He was pretty good in Boston before, but now he's kind of being showcased there because that Royals is not very deep. The Royals are not very deep. But Ty France is really interesting to me. He's hitting .375 for the Rays. And that team does have guys now that are respected in that lineup. So he's kind of one of those sneaky players. And he's leading in, or up in the top of quite a few categories. Eric
Seattle.
Yeah. Seattle. Sorry. Yeah. I keep saying the Rays and I'm wrong. So, Seattle. I don't know why I was thinking that. But speaking of that, boys like J-Rod and stuff like that are starting to come together. When you have a guy like this in your lineup that's leading here, driving in runs, hitting some home runs, it takes some pressure off of those other players in the lineup because teams are now looking at him.
And we had kind of talked about that Seattle lineup going into this season and how it was one of the top ones that we thought.
Pretty loaded.
Yeah, that's what I say. So, and this is one of the guys we were talking about.
No, because, again, he's one of those guys that was kind of buried around people. Hosmer is third, also hitting .375. Nathaniel Lowe, I know. I talk smack about Hosmer, and it happens all the time. I'm going to tell you now, I was running music for the Aviators one time. I'll just tell you the story really quick. And I can't remember who it was. I think it was someone from the Angels organization. I had trolled him all game, right? And given him all kinds of nonsense for music, right? Because I was doing the music for him. And so I end up playing Baby Shark when he walks up. So I made his walk-up music Baby Shark, right? And he walks in, he steps in the box, he steps out, and he looks up for a minute. He steps back in at the first pitch. He hits it off the middle of the scoreboard. He goes around third base, and as he does it, he goes like this. He looks and he goes like that to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy just straight called it out. Yeah. So anytime I talk smack about a player, I would say invest yourself into that guy because that guy is going all in.
It's the exact opposite with the Nixon.
Yes.
Yeah. So Hosmer definitely did that. Nathaniel Lowe, Arenado, Jose Ramirez for the Guardians, Matt Olson, 7th in the league.
Freddie who?
Yeah, you don't see Freeman's list in the top 10. Vladdy's number 11. I left him just there. And then Suzuki for the Cubs is in the 8th spot, hitting .354 for the Cubs. So kind of interesting. But we love to talk averages, but home runs are fun. Here's a walk-off.
That was crushed.
Damn, in front of a sellout crowd of 3,000.
Bro, that is true.
All 3,000 fans got their money's worth.
Buxton's second home run of the day, gave him 6 on the season, just came back from being hurt.
Well, the thing with Minnesota is they built an outdoor stadium like dumbasses, and it's still freezing cold there. So it's like, who wants to go sit and watch a baseball game when it's freezing cold?
I went opening weekend. I went game 2 to there, and they didn't fire up the fire pits out on the walk around the first night. Apparently they didn't have them ready. They scrambled all night to get them ready for night number 2 at like 3/4 of the stadium. That's where everybody was. So all the body heat up there was fine. You were fine up there, but no one was sitting in the stadium.
Nobody's sitting. Yeah,
it was hilarious.
Too
what
cold.
Were they thinking,
so dumb. Like, I just look at it. It's like, okay, yeah, the 2 good months you get in Minnesota during the summertime, and you're playing baseball, and everybody's like, wow, it's great. It's 75. It's beautiful. It's like, who gives a shit? Like, during the start of the season and in the playoffs, it's so cold there. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if they would have taken, and did like the Diamondbacks with the retractable.
The retractable roof.
Well, if Minnesota ever makes it to the playoffs again, and we see them playing on into October and into November for the World Series, we're going to see like snow flurries. There's going to be like snow on the banks and stuff. Like, it's going to be insane.
Yeah, can you imagine a Yankees-Minnesota series where everything's just cold?
Just everybody's freezing their ass off.
Cold. Yeah. You don't get to warm up at all.
Well, Brian Buxton hit 6 home runs. Again, he just came back off of being injured. He was down for a week or so. Ozzie Albies has 6 home runs, but Albies also had a multi-homer game. I'm a little disappointed, though, to be honest with you, and we're 3 weeks into the season, and after week 1, we had guys with 4 home runs. And now you have guys with 6 home runs, so that number's down. You don't have that number up there like that. But you've got Albies, Buxton, C.J. Cron for the Rockies. Arenado, Ty France, Vladimir Guerrero, Jock Peterson, Salvador Perez, Anthony Rizzo, and Cody Bellinger. And Bellinger is an interesting one on the list because people were like, this guy's dead. He hit below the Mendoza line last year.
But he did in the offseason. He came out and said he retooled his swing. He was going to try to shorten his swing up a little bit because he does. He has one of those very long swings. But he tried to retool it, so it might be working.
He was changing it a lot.
Yeah.
Though. Like they showed like split screens, and like as the season was going, he kept changing it. And
a guy does that when he's lost with his swing.
Yeah.
He starts trying to change it, and the problem is that Cody Bellinger's swing is so long. He's got so many moving parts that if he doesn't have his front foot down at the right time, he doesn't fire the hips at the right time, the hands can't get where they're supposed to be.
Off.
Things are just off,
100%.
and that one little bit off, that's the rollover ground ball to the first baseman. That's the that light pop up to shortstop. That's what happens. So hopefully he's turned it around. And I say that hopefully. I mean, as a Padre fan, I absolutely hope he doesn't turn it around. But honestly, you never want to see a guy like this because he's shown how clutch he is in the playoffs. And that to me...
Well, he was an MVP and an AL or in a Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
So it's like, and he's only been in the league, 4 years?
Right.
So you're like, that's a star that we don't want to lose in baseball.
No, absolutely.
I was surprised to see Vladdy with only 5 home runs. He hit 3 in one game.
Well, he's being pitched around a little bit. Teams are pitching around him. Don't be surprised if he has one of the highest intentional walk rates of any player since Barry Bonds, right, this year.
I was going to say, because
him
I was
and
surprised to see him
Harper are
only
kind of
5.
getting that treatment. Harper's getting the same thing this year. They're pitching around him. If they're not intentionally walking them, they're definitely pitching around them for sure. They're not getting pitches to hit, and that does play into it.
Speaking about pitching around somebody, I was at my daughter's Little League game this weekend. So Saturday night, she had the 7:30 game. For God's sake, 7:30 on a Saturday night. I'm at Indian Springs watching a Little League baseball game. And so the kid on the other team, this kid's a monster. She's playing baseball. It's not softball, it's baseball. And so it's boys and girls on the field together.
Okay.
And this kid's an absolute monster. So he got 3 at-bats that game. He had 2 home runs. First one he hit over the fence. The second one he hit to the fence and ran around the bases. So their team's winning by 2. My daughter's team is. And this kid comes up with the bases loaded. So I'm sitting behind the coach's dugout. I'm like, hey, intentionally walk would be nice. Like, I just throw it out there like that, right? And I can see, like, he hears
the wheels
me.
turn.
Yeah.
Right. He hears me say it. He doesn't. Guess what this kid does?
Grand slam.
Grand slam to walk off.
Walk-off grand slam.
Yeah.
I would
Walk-off
rather
grand
not
slam.
get beat by that kid.
That's what I I looked at the coach at the end, and he's just like, you could see he was like, I made a mistake there. Like, yeah, 100%. You don't throw this kid the ball. He already has 2 jacks against you. You don't throw him again.
Yeah, you don't.
Damn 12-year-olds got me fired
We've
up.
intentionally walked kids in Little League before. We're friends with one of the guys right now, Colton Simmons, who runs real estate out here in Vegas, and we intentionally walked him as a kid. He still remembers. He still talks about that story because he's friends with James as well. So it's funny.
It's the best,
I
right?
remember it. I was
So
like,
funny. It is. Yeah.
he turned his bat around and held it by the barrel and had the handle, and we still threw him 4 balls outside on purpose, like intentional.
That's
how bad he was.
That's the best.
RBIs for the league. This guy went into the weekend with 20 and finished the weekend with 20. So I would say that your Yankees had a nice weekend against Jose Ramirez, which really, we want to look at all the stories that are on that team, right? Because you've got a handful of guys that are on there that have, Quan and some of these guys. We don't know their names yet, right? But they're guys that have had nice seasons. Jose Ramirez just doing what he does, and that's what's keeping that lineup rocking because he's that catalyst for it, So Ty France, 19, CJ Cron. Again, a lot of these are going to tie up with the home run lead. Pete Alonso has 16 RBIs for this week. Biggest jump in power rankings from 7th to 3rd are the Mets. Now, we called that at the beginning of the year before the season started. So how we had it right and everyone else had it wrong, I don't know. I didn't look at them as the number 11th or 12th best team in baseball when the season started. They were definitely in my top 5, and they're residing right where they should. It's Dodgers, Blue Jays, Mets. So you've got Pete Alonso, and then Jazz Chisholm has 15 RBIs for the Marlins.
That's crazy.
Right? So,
I didn't even know they got that many people on base in Florida.
Well, see, that lineup is so fast that anybody gets on base, they're swiping a bag and driving them in. They're playing National League style baseball with the DH now.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
They're doing it, and they're fast. I mean, they might have, I'd argue, their top 5 guys in the lineup might be the 5 fastest guys in baseball. It's literally like, they're ridiculous fast. There's a couple of fast guys in baseball, but you know what I'm saying. Nolan Arenado, basically right now, Arenado is showing you that he has all intentions to go for a Triple Crown this year. Mm-hmm. He's a league leader in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. He has 14. Brandon Marsh for the Angels is a rookie, and he's leading number 7 with 13, tied for 13. There's 4 of them there with 13 RBIs for the season. But Brandon Marsh, Marte Suzuki again, and Trey Turner kind of round that out. So interesting, I think, from the standpoint of how the season has started. You are not seeing the traditional names as the league leaders so far this season.
Yes.
You're not seeing Ohtani. You're not seeing Harper. You're not seeing Trout, right? Even some of the guys that we would see like in RBIs, like a JD Martinez or something like that, not there. Those guys are not. Mookie Betts isn't on it. You're not seeing these guys. But you made the comment, and that's perfect. You said not yet.
Correct.
Right? Give these guys, usually in my opinion, to really find out statistically where guys are going to be, you need a month and a half.
Yeah, the cream rises to the top. And we all know that, and that's the way it's going to be. A lot of these guys that are tearing it up are guys that have never done it in their careers, or they're very new to baseball as far as Major League Baseball. And so, you got to give it time. Pitchers will figure out how to pitch around these guys that are off to hot starts, and the guys that are MVP candidates will continue to do it, or they'll come from the bottom.
Now, the guy that's sneaky here, and just from when we talk, because we don't talk a lot of sports betting, but we do a little bit, right? CJ Cron for MVP might be a sneaky one that you could get for virtually nothing. You could probably put $10 on it and get a crazy good return. Mm-hmm. He's playing in Colorado. If that team wins, he is a guy that has proven that he can hit, and he can hit in the clutch, and he can play. With the Angels, he was a very good player. He just happened to be overshadowed because Pujols and Trout and all those guys were there. But he had a very, very good career with the Angels, so he might be a sneaky one for you to pop that in. Guy that won't be playing. I mean, this picture, this is like, they say a picture says 1,000 words, right? This is one of those pictures. Ben Simmons ruled out Game 4 tonight for the Brooklyn Nets, who are down 0-3.
What the hell is going on with this kid?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Know,
if you're gonna play in a game in this series, this has got to be it. You're an elimination game. There is no tomorrow. If you lose tonight, there's no tomorrow.
Here's body language from Game 3 from Durant. Makes you feel like that's probably the same body language that they're giving Ben Simmons in there. The Simmons thing is interesting. Apparently, it's a back issue. Said that his back is not good and he's not good to go. He's getting wrecked on national television right now. Yeah. They are wrecking him to the point where I actually heard it said that with him not playing, do the Nets keep him at the end of the year? Colin Cowherd this morning was actually saying, blow the whole thing up, trade Kyrie, keep Durant, and rebuild with a whole bunch of new players because Kyrie's not a winner. Just all this stuff that is going on. I don't know if this is going to be the body language coming into the game, but I seem to think that will be the case. And their matchup, they're playing Boston, and Jason Tatum is absolutely out of his mind.
Brooklyn's favored by 1 in that game, by the way.
Yeah, it's on the road.
Yeah.
Right. Mm. So they're at home.
No, they're at home.
They're at home,
but they're favored
they're only favored by 1 at home.
Correct.
Usually, what's it in basketball? 4-point or 3-point?
3.
3 for home.
Usually home. Yeah. And it's just that team is demoralized. They're not communicating well. And even there was a press conference from KD, and KD was basically like, I'm overthinking everything. I'm thinking too much, even leading in, how I'm going to approach it, how I'm going to do this. I need to bring our teammates back together. Bro, I hate to tell you this. You're scrambling down 3-0. You needed to scramble down 1-0. 3-0 is too late.
Yeah.
You're basically done.
Yeah. So
we need Johnny Rip in here to give us a little parlay like he did last time.
Yeah, he did. He gave us a winner.
He did. To 2 winners.
He gave us 2 winners.
He said both these teams should be favored by double digits tonight, and they weren't, and they both won by double digits.
Yeah, I would bet that the Celtics are a good bet tonight. Toronto is at Philly. Fred VanVleet is not going to play. That came out this morning. So now you have him, Scotty Barnes. You've got 3 starters out for Toronto. I don't know what the point spread on that is. It's got to be
8.
Pretty big.
Philly's favored by 8, even with Embiid with the supposed torn ligament in his right thumb.
Yeah, and Embiid might see limited time tonight, so that game might be a little closer than expected, but I still think it gets closed out.
Yeah, if they get a big lead, they're going to rest him for sure.
I would maybe say in this spot, Toronto might be where the money's at, because this game might be a lot closer than it should be, and people will be surprised, and they shouldn't be, because why would you play Embiid a whole bunch if you don't need to? He's hurt, and you can go play one more game.
Right.
And then Utah and Dallas play tonight. Utah's kind of made it a series. Luka came back. Luka got back on the court. Had a nice game. 30-something points. It was Luka, so looks like the calf injury is okay. That bodes well for the Mavericks.
Yeah, it was I bet that game, so it was a terrible ending. I had Dallas money line on that game, and of course, at the end of the game, it was the worst. Worst ran. That's why they lost. Thanks. Yeah, I jinxed you again. I'm sorry, but my God, all they had to do was make their foul shots. Yeah. That's all they had, and they missed 4 of the last 6 foul shots. Yep. And they lose the game by 1. So that's how it goes.
You had that, and again, I think tonight Dallas is just so much better than Utah. They just are. Top to bottom, I think they're showing that now.
They'll win the series.
So they're 1-2. Let's 2-2, and tonight's swing game is really important.
Yep.
I think it's important for whoever wins
it's in Dallas
going to win the
tonight?
series. Tonight should be in Dallas, yeah.
And in Dallas favored by 3.
Oh no, yeah, tonight's in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. And then tomorrow you have Atlanta and Miami, and Miami's got the dagger in that. That's
it's
already
over.
done.
That's a wrap.
Trey sitting on, and we're not talking about it because Durant has decided to hang his head so much. Trey's hanging his head really heavy. He just can't shoulder it all. That Atlanta team is 1 or 2 pieces away from being fairly good, but they're not. Miami is very, very good.
Oh yeah.
And they're showing it. Memphis and Minnesota.
It's been fun.
The next coming of the Messiah, Anthony Edwards.
That has been a fun series to watch, actually.
They're saying that Anthony Edwards, shot percentages are so much better than what we've seen in the past of a guy like him and everything, and he's bigger and he's stronger and he looks like he's going to hold it for the long haul. I really like him. Early investment advice, we've already given it to you, but Anthony Edwards, if you didn't buy him last year when you could pay significantly less than LaMelo for him, I'm sorry you missed out on that. I'm going to tell you now, when it's all said and done in that 2021 class, Anthony Edwards is going to be the best player out of it. It's not going to be LaMelo Ball. Get your investment in there. If you're buying basketball now and you're deciding between those two guys, my suggestion is buy Anthony Edwards. Mm-hmm. He's a leader, and that's just it. And then the Pelicans and Phoenix 2-2. Booker's hurt. This is a coin flip game. This is not something I would suggest you bet. We don't know what we're going to get out of the Suns. We don't know if we're going to get performances like we are from their role players. But I will tell you this. Brandon Clark has been incredible. And CJ McCollum, what a trade. You want to say I gotta say that's got to be one of the best trades in the last 4 or 5 years, right? To acquire C.J. McCollum at the deadline and to have him do what he's done for that Pelicans team and literally take them out of the basement and not just make them formidable, but actually show that, because when Booker was hurt, they were still playing good against them. So it's not like Booker didn't change the series all that much.
So if the Pelicans move on, does that make Zion want to stay? Because we all think Zion's out the door. I think everybody
in New York next year.
We hope.
If Pelicans move on, I think it gives them more of a reason to move Zion.
To trade him?
Yeah, and
to show that, hey, we did it without Zion, and
let's add some pieces.
Well, yeah, let's get rid of him and add more younger pieces.
Here's the bigger question, though: if the Pelicans move on, is there a chance that we see him late second round or third round if they continue to play and win?
I don't think so.
I think he's.
I think he messes up the chemistry if he comes back in the middle of the playoffs.
They might do it.
I think that would be a bad move by them.
You're the NBA.
It'd be great for us as fans.
Yeah,
but if they beat the Suns and then he comes back.
But if you're an organization, like you're going to bring in a guy like that's been missing for a
I
majority.
agree with you, but I've said it since the jump that not only is New Orleans invested into him, but so are the NBA. Right, the NBA is just as invested.
So
into
the NBA is going to call the Pelicans and be like, "Hey, get this
damn
guy
right!
in."
So you tell me right now that they don't look at a second round series that isn't getting very good views, and they go, "Look, is he ready to roll? Let's get him out in Game 4." Right, and if he's ready to roll, and I'm going to tell you now, if he does, if they do that, if that happens, and this is a massive what if. This is that 1 in 1,000 shot. If that 1 in 1,000 shot happens and he hits the court. Watch what his cards do overnight.
Where's Johnny Rip at?
Overnight.
I want to see if he sides with me on this. I know he's around somewhere.
I mean, again,
I don't think he
I don't
plays.
know that he'll play, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they did? The possibility of it. So that's our playoff matchup. That's what we've got going on. Slate of games today. Again, you've got 4 p.m. Pacific. You've got Boston and Brooklyn, and then you have at 5 p.m. Pacific. You have Toronto and Philly, and then. At 6:30, you get that Dallas-Utah series, which people are tuning in to see Luka. He's definitely being watched. So,
I need him to keep going up.
Well, I said he needs to win a series, and if he does, you're going to see a nice little increase. And so far, that's showing off. He comes back and he puts up the points he just did. You're already starting to see the Luka needle move on him. Sales were up on some of the buying platforms as of the weekend.
Because everyone wants him to do well. Everyone likes him.
Well, and guys dumped him, so now they're going back and buying him again. So they are. That takes us to fantasy. And Jay's Fantasy Roundup. Jay Up comes each week with fantasy advice for you. And we're at DFS for basketball, but... What are you thinking?
So the big news for baseball right now is obviously Eloy Jimenez. He's out 6 to 8 weeks with what they're calling a significant hamstring injury. Obviously, he missed time last year with that ruptured pectoral tendon, and so he's only 25 years old. So this is it's a bad way to start off your career, I guess you could say. With him out though. That's a big part of your lineup missing. So some of the guys I want to go off waivers. I got 3 outfielders that could maybe take his spot if you're an Eloy Jimenez owner. Alex Kirilloff. I know he did not have a good year last year. I know that he was struggling when he started the season this year. I think he started 1 for 17 hitting.
Yeah.
Went on the injured list. So obviously that injury was obviously bothering him, right? He just got a cortisone shot. He's supposed to start his rehab assignment on Tuesday, tomorrow. So he's coming off injured list. If someone out there dropped him because he's available in about 50% of leagues right now, that's someone you might want to look at. You might get a significant jump in that outfield spot. Another outfielder playing well this year is Randall Grichuk from Colorado. He's a right fielder. He's hitting over 400 for the season, and he's become that everyday player that's not really talked about very much. But he's also available in almost 45% of leagues, so he could still be floating around out there.
Yeah, he was that forgotten guy
Correct.
with the Cardinals.
And he's hitting in Colorado now, which is a lot more of a hitter's park, so that's a guy that could get you some good batting average if you're trying to replace Jimenez. And then also Jock Peterson. He's actually available in quite a few leagues because he's just that mediocre guy. No one really goes out and seeks getting Jock Peterson on their fantasy team. His whole career has been pretty much just up and down, right? He's never been that solid guy year in, year out. He's a left fielder now for San Francisco, so he's going to get some outfield playing time there. He doesn't hit when they're throwing a left-handed starter. So keep that in mind, but I actually looked it up, and they're only facing one lefty in the rotation this week. Obviously, you don't know how bullpens work. If he's in the in the game and a guy with left-handed comes in from the bullpen, can't predict that. But he's only facing one lefty this week, so he's a guy that could get you some good quality at-bats if you're missing that outfield spot.
Getting that depth, I think, is important. And when you touch back to Jimenez for the White Sox,
yeah,
you've got guys you have Mercedes, who actually started back down in AAA this year. It kind of opens the door back up for some of those guys as well. I would also suggest Sheets from the White Sox is probably going to see more playing time because of
Jimenez being out. Yeah.
So, and he's a rookie. He's someone that could all of a sudden just kind of come out of nowhere. He shouldn't. The guy can hit. And he has had some success already, but
6 to 8 weeks though on a hamstring injury, that's pretty significant. You're talking about almost missing 2 months of the season and then having to get right back in the flow of things. I don't know. It's just tough.
It is going to be tough, and Eloy was a big piece for the White Sox last year in contributing. So we'll see what happens there. Plus or minus. This is where we talk about
This is
your
huge.
investments, right?
Investments.
I'm excited about this.
And normally it would be me kind of leading the charge on this, but it's go time.
Finally,
It's go
the
time.
card gods have spoken upon us. And now we finally get some of the products that we have been waiting for all year. So it started this week with, we got a couple decent products. We ended up getting, what's the product that we just ripped yet? Oh, Phoenix. We got Phoenix this week. Yeah. Well, we're going into next week. We're starting out with Panini One. Panini One's a one card. It's an awesome breaking product because, you get through it quick. Everybody's going after those huge autographs. Panini One, NFL comes out. Revolution Basketball is another one. That's a fun little product because it's got all the shiny cards and the different inserts and parallels and numbers stuff. Topps Bowman, Chrome University. First baseball or football product for Topps that's coming out this year. It's all university guys, so it's going to be all the college guys that are getting ready to come into the league because they don't have the license yet. Yeah. But it's given us the first look of what we're probably going to expect when Fanatics takes over. We're going to get the Topps Chrome, the Topps Bowman Chrome, and that type of stuff in football, baseball, and basketball in all three of them.
Have you seen the checklist? Does it have the draft?
Yep.
Draft players?
Yep.
And it also has collegiate players too. So it has C.J. Stroud and some of those guys that are not in the draft class.
Correct.
The kid from Utah, right?
Those guys that they got the NILs out for that are name, image, likeness that are in college still that are now starting to get paid. Yeah. They're going to be in it, so that's a fun one.
That's fun.
National Treasures football. Can't say anything bad about that. That's one of the hottest products every single year. Those RPAs of the quarterbacks are still selling for close to $100,000. This is still Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
Rookie class. We're not talking.
You're deep with this class, right?
Mac Jones, Trey Lance, right? Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence,
Wilson,
and
Zach
the season's
Wilson.
already over, so you already know who killed it, and the
wide receiver class this year.
Don't forget Davis Mills is a starting quarterback for the Texans.
Yeah. Yes.
So you're talking. You got
Mond is in there.
Mond has a chance.
Ian Book
has a chance to start. So you got seven.
I can keep going.
Yeah. You got 7-8 quarterbacks that are in this National Treasures product. And plus everyone else who did.
Jamar
Chase and those guys that just went off last year. Yeah. So this National Treasures, it took a while to get there. We're finally there for National Treasures. Thank God. Yes. This product's going to fly. It's going to, investment-wise, any of these products that you buy within the first week, you're going to gain 20% if you hold it for 1 week. Yeah. Guaranteed. You come to any card shop in the country, you buy it opening day, you hold it for a week, you could go right back into that card shop a week later, and they'll pay you 20% more than what you paid for that card or for that box. Right. Bowman Baseball coming out. 2022 Bowman Baseball.
I'm excited about that because there's some guys that are going to be in the Bowman first line that are really good prospects.
Yeah. So what they always do is they always hold some guys out of draft because draft's our first look at this 2022 year class. And they always hold a couple guys like the Brady Houses and those guys, and they don't put in the autos in Bowman draft. Now they're putting it into Bowman, so we'll have the opportunity to get these guys in this product. Prism NFL releases. Prism NBA releases this month. Select NFL releases this month. Flawless NFL releases this month. Select UFC releases this month. Crown Royal Basketball, where you chase the downtowns. That product went insane last year because everybody was chasing those downtown. Same thing comes out this month. This month is going to be incredible for the breaking group. For the opening, if you open boxes, if you're buying singles, you're going to have an opportunity to buy like crazy because guess what? It's all going to be out there. Select's one of my favorite products. They do have the XRCs for this next following draft class that's getting ready to be drafted here on Thursday. You can pick up those XRCs. They won't be shipped out to you until probably November or December of next year. Right. But you still get the opportunity to grab those XRCs. And a lot of people are down on this class this year. They're saying, they're not too happy. But I know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going picking out those XRCs off of eBay, especially the QB 1, 2, 3, and 4, and just holding them and seeing what we get out of those guys. Because if a lot of guys aren't high on them, we could get them for fairly cheap. So look at those XRCs.
Too, is you're seeing some of these guys every year, and I'll use Davis Mills as an example. Davis Mills is a really kind of like an unknown commodity at this point, but this next season, we could be talking about Davis Mills over Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
We could be.
Yeah.
So, when you start thinking about that, a draft class like this, it doesn't look like it could be. There are a couple of guys, and obviously Willis is the one guy that, he's got that little bit of Mahomes, a little bit of Brett Favre, gunslinger type, and maybe that is enough to make some waves in the NFL. I don't know.
A lot of time it's all landing spot.
Yeah.
It's all landing spot and opportunity. Like, obviously, you saw that same thing happen with Jordan Love. People were talking about Jordan Love. Green Bay trades up to get him, and it's like you put him behind one of the best quarterbacks of all time. So now he just sits there and rots away, and now no one wants Jordan Love. And so it's like it's all about landing spot. It's all about opportunity. And guys that have an opportunity to do it, you either do it or you don't.
Well, and I think in the Jordan Love situation, he got talked about because they traded up with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
I want to look at guys when you think of like Russ Wilson, who fell in the draft, or Dak Prescott, who fell into the later rounds, right? Those guys, they're out there. The Kenny Pickett's in this draft, he could be. I know we knocked his hand size and all that stuff, but the guy throws a great ball. He's pretty smart. He could be surprising, and he's a guy that's going to get later in the draft.
Yeah.
So he's going to end up in a better situation. That's what happened to Mac Jones, right? Mac Jones got in a better situation. Mac Jones, remember, was not the first overall pick, right? In fact, he wasn't second, right? Like, he was down in the draft, and that's why the Patriots got him, and he got into a nice situation. So one of these guys gets into a good situation, you never know what.
And we all say that. Look at Trevor Lawrence. His situation, he went into the Jaguars, was terrible.
Follow.
Very terrible situation. It seems to be getting a little bit better with Doug Peterson taking over as quarterback or as a head coach there,
huge,
and adding in some big pieces. But if Trevor Lawrence would have went to a different team, say the Patriots, I guarantee they'd be running a totally different offense than they ran last year with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
They'd be letting Trevor Lawrence throw the ball around the field.
Yeah.
So it does. Jay's 100% right. It matters to where they land, what's the positioning, and we don't know. With football, there's so many injuries and so many people get hurt, and even at the quarterback position, we see 3 to 4 big-time QBs go out every single year.
Yep.
So it's going to happen again this year. It'll be fun to watch. I can't wait for Thursday night.
No, absolutely. It's going to be great. And for the plus and minus portion of this, just to remind you guys, because there is so much product, be very aware these are going to stack one right after the other. So really target the stuff that you want to get invested and get into. Don't miss the breaks on it. And as Jimmy mentioned, don't miss getting into the product early. And the reason being is because if you miss getting in early, it's going to cost you when you get in late. It just is. It's going to. We already know what Prism, what Flawless, what National Treasures is going to be. We already know what's going to happen with that product. And I'll be honest with you, I know we knock Collegiate a lot of the times, but just because this is Topps and Bowman coming out, this product could be just like that. And we are not going to see product from Panini for a little while on the NFL license. So this is going to be the product that you're going to have on these guys. You're going to have this, and you're going to have the draft that will come out soon after. But besides that, the NFL product is going to be delayed again this year, just like it was this last year. So.
Yep. So fun times, guys. Can't wait. This is going to be I'm going to be broke by the end of this month. Like, I'm going to hate to look at my bank account because I'm going to be buying all kinds of, Prism and Select and I'll be buying it all. I can't wait.
It's going to be a busy month.
We will definitely be doing that. So watch for breaks from us. Watch also Whatnot. Jay Up will be up today. 1 o'clock for Jay today, not 12:30. 1 o'clock Jay will be on. He will be doing, we won't call it Get Up. We'll call it Stay Up today. Stay Up with Jay Up. Because we'll be starting at 1 o'clock today. But he'll be on the GameDay LV profile. Of course, GameDay Las Vegas will be rocking and rolling as well. We've been rocking a ton of singles. We've had a bunch of single shows. And then also on Drip, we started doing some of the Pokemon shows. So if you're a Pokemon collector, into that, start watching for our profile there. More towards the weekends, Friday, Saturday. You can look for shows for Pokemon there. And the breaks group, we will get more breaks up for you guys. We'll get a mixer up there, but then we're going to be leading into these big product releases, and it's just going to be nuts. So this, where it's been quiet the last few weeks, it's going to be
ramped
really
up 100%.
Loud. And then also watch, we're going to put up some information looking for you guys to let us know what you want to be tagged in and information on that. So keep that in mind. Anything else from you fellas?
I got nothing.
We're in San Diego this weekend.
Del Mar, our boys, Nostalgic. We'll see you guys this weekend. Thank you guys very much for all you guys do for us, we will be there.
Marketplace. If you get a chance to go, it'll be a fun show, guys. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And both Beckett and PSA are on site.
Can't wait.
So it's the first West Coast show in I don't know how long that it's had both of them at it. So definitely a time to come out. But yeah, looking forward to the weekend. And of course, slate of basketball games tonight. It's a crazy time to be a sports fan. I love it. All right, guys. Next time we see you, we'll go monster hunting.